welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary and it's time for a Tuesday tip. Today the baby dinosaurs are getting an upgrade. I picked up a 55 from a friend of mine and I'm going to apply a background, move them off the shelf, move the new tank in, and tell you about some of the decisions I made for this grow out for these large predatory fish. Let's get started. The tank I had them in looked like plenty of room, but the thing with big predatory fish is they can be mean to each other. So I want to give them a bit more space and a lot more hiding places. I picked up this 55 from my friends Sheila and Gavin. It's basically new. I'm going to apply a background, place it on the stand, and then move the babies. So let's get started. I've cut this window film to fit. It's a little short, but I think it'll be just fine. Being as, you know, this is not a permanent tank for these guys, but it'll still provide a blackout to the background. All you do is cut it to fit. Peel it off the backing. Spray the back that you've cleaned. Spray this. And that provides a bit of a barrier for you to be able to move it around. Then you take a credit card and smooth out all the air bubbles. And then as the water dries out, it'll be adhered. And I like these because they're extremely removable. So it's a very impermanent solution. It's very cheap. And it provides a nice, nice background. And I just went with black because most of my other tanks are black. You can cut it a little bit over and then trim it with a razor blade really easily. And that's all there is to it. So the 55 is in place with that background intact. I threw some caves in there and now I'm just going to fill it up and let everything settle before I move the babies in. Now again, what's important for these guys is surface area. So this 75 is going to give them a lot more swimming space and the ability to avoid one another. They've been taking bites out of each other's pectoral fins, which were already a bit compromised from inbreeding from the person I purchased them from. So the hope is that by putting in all these hiding places and giving them more space, they'll be able to avoid each other a little bit easier. Now again, just to recap, I'm not using substrate in this aquarium because I don't want the baby Endlies to eat it. Also, I'm keeping the decor very, very simple so that it's easy for me to clean, but providing more hiding places so that they can avoid each other and hopefully not damage each other so much. I have other good news. They are now pellet trained, so we'll be feeding them once they're settled in here, and you can see that finally They are off of the beef heart and onto pellets, which makes my job way easier, especially with my upcoming surgery. Now, because the depth of the aquarium is unimportant for these fish. I'm gonna leave it about half full. The surface area is really what's important. As they get bigger, I'll fill the aquarium for the increased dilution. If you look at the front left pectoral fin of this little guy right here, you can see it's pretty damaged, and that's from them biting each other. So they should look like this, guys. So the hope is that with all this additional space and extra tubes and the driftwood, that they will avoid each other during feeding time, or at least just not nosh on each other more. They do have some birth defects that are from overcrowding when they're young. Some of them have bent pectoral fins, but that should resolve hopefully in time. All in all, I think they're going to be way happier with a ton more space. This is over double what they had, and despite them still being small, the dilution will only help with their growth, and it'll reduce some of the aggression issues we've been having. It's very, very important when dealing with large predatory fish that you have plans for them as they grow. Now, after this size aquarium, I'll have to move them up into the big boy's tank. But first they need to get to at least the diameter of a hot dog. So this is what the aquarium looks like now. The window cling does a great job as a background. I know a lot of you had suggested that I do that in my big tank, but the problem is I can't access it to squeegee it or even apply it. So I have to come up with a different solution for that one. I've shown you guys this before as well in my Fluval 5-gallon spec setup. And it's just a really great, economical, easy solution to a background. I think it looks really nice. Now you can see all the micro bubbles from filling the aquarium. Those will go away over the next several hours. And I've dropped some pellets into the aquarium for these guys. Now it's a much bigger aquarium, so it might take them a little bit more time to find them than usual. But last night they pigged out on pellets for the very first time, so I'm hopeful. And these pellets are Sinking Carnivore pellets by Hikari, which is not generally my favorite diet, but it is really good for growing out monster fish. Now another thing I'm gonna have to keep an eye on with these guys is that they grow at the same rate. Otherwise, if some of them get disparately big, they can really do some damage to the ones that are smaller, including eating them. So I'm hoping that by starting them with all at about the same size, I won't have those issues. But there's already two that are about 1/4 of an inch larger than the others. So I'm gonna have to keep a close eye and make sure everybody's getting enough food. As always, thank you guys for the continued support. Let me know below if you have any comments, suggestions, and questions, and what you think about the big boy or the little boy's new tank. I think it's going to make my life way easier as far as maintenance, be better for them as far as aggression, and the increased dilution will just make everything better for both of us. Make sure you stop by my Instagram and my Facebook, as well as my website, MsJinx.com, where you can find my upcoming speaking engagements, my current stock list, and information on all